I don't know how many people are going to show up on Friday at 4 o'clock, but this is going to be about soul colors and aura colors. I didn't send out my email list as normal, so I apologize to everybody else because this week's been kind of crazy, but I felt like I should do this today instead of yesterday. Um, and if you're watching on YouTube, obviously fast forward because I'm on Instagram and waiting for people to show up. Hey! So I'm just waiting to see if anybody shows up. I don't know if anybody's going to show up today because I know it's Friday at 4 o'clock, at least in Eastern time. Hey, so while we wait for people, I want to show a couple good books that are really interesting on colors and auras and all that kind of stuff. Your Life in Color by Dougal Fraser. This is a really interesting book and an interesting take on color and everything because he talks about how to use color in your day-to-day life. So like, I haven't read this book in a while, but I think it was, let's see, something with silver. I am protected by the loving embrace of silver. So he gives an affirmation for each color. And then let's see, silver's actually for abandonment issues and for trauma. So he talks about like adding silver to your house or different places in your home. And then I think he talks about visualizations for the different colors too, which is pretty interesting. I always encourage people using color for visualization as well, for like protection and everything else and clearing your energy. So I'm just going to start, and if people come on, they come on. If they don't, they watch it on YouTube. So, okay, so this is about soul colors and aura colors. They are two different things. Soul colors, let's see, how do I want to say this? So there's a belief that we incarnate with 1 to 2 soul colors, and our soul colors basically describe our personality, whereas our aura colors change based on what we're doing throughout the day or like what we're doing in life. But the meanings of the colors are very similar for both. So for the soul colors, there's red, there's orange, there's yellow/gold, there's green, there's blue, there's violet, there's indigo, and there's crystal, or like the rainbow children. And then you can have those same colors in your aura as well. And I know in your aura you can have like turquoise and all different kinds of mixes of all those colors, but those are the basic colors. And they also correlate with the chakras and what the chakra colors mean as well. So I guess I'll just do the chakra stuff because most people know that the most. If you know what chakras are, hopefully. If you don't, just look it up because this is not the video for that. But so chakra colors, you have red, and red is energy, it's vitality, it's that life, it's passion, it's life energy. Orange with the chakras is creativity, sexuality, manifesting. It's where trauma is stored, it's feelings, it's emotion, it's flowy. Yellow is intellectual, that's our willpower. And our heart chakra is green or pink, depending on what you vibe with, or both. And so the green is that nurturing. Hey. Then we have our throat chakra, which is that light blue, and that has to do with self-expression and creativity. I mean, the sacral chakra does too, but the self-expression. Then you have the third eye chakra, which is that darker blue, and that has to do with intuition and just kind of like knowing. And then you have the crown chakra, which is the purple, and that's the spirituality center, the universe center. So like I said, the colors that are in your chakras can be in your aura, and then your soul colors, again, it all goes together. So again, our soul colors are basically colors that we're born with 1 to 2 main colors, and they describe our personality. And then again, they're different from aura colors because our aura colors change based on what we're doing. So I'm going to go through the soul color colors and talk about what they mean. So, and I have a little test thing for like $10 if you want to figure out what your soul color is. But you might be able to figure that out based on what I'm talking about in here. So I'm going to start with red. So somebody who has a red soul color is very fiery, they're very passionate, they're very down to earth. And with all of the soul colors, there can be positives and negatives, kind of like with archetypes. There's a light side, there's a shadow side. So if you have the potential for one, you have the potential for other, and it's about balance. So red people, it's a lot easier to figure out or like identify the negative red people. So for example, the first person that comes to mind is President Trump, because he's a bully, and the negative side of the red soul color is being a bully and like a boss. But if you think about the positive side, it's somebody who is very concerned with like financial stuff, very concerned with their security, very concerned with being in positions of power and almost controlling other people. So they might be like the CEO of a company. Hey, they might be anywhere where there's positions of power and they can yield that power. That's where a red soul is going to be. They're not abstract thinkers. They're very concrete. So red souls are very concrete. Whereas like if you look at the spectrum, so I'm starting with red and I'm going up the color spectrum. So red souls compared to like violet and indigo souls are very abstract thinkers. They're very much dreamers and spirituality. Red souls are very grounded and very concerned about what's going on right now in this earth plane and where they're at right now. Let's see. There's a lot of information, so I just have it all in front of me so I don't forget anything. They're very physically active. Let's see. So too with red souls, these are the people who are going to be activists, if on the positive side. So without those kind of red souls, we really wouldn't have people leading causes and like fighting for certain causes. They can be impulsive. Like I said, they can be concerned with very like physical stuff. They can be blunt. They could be constantly moving. They can be very emotional, but they'll deny that they're emotional, just because they don't want to seem weak. Again, if you think of the negative side of like a red soul, of somebody who's narcissistic, they don't want you to see that they have emotions. So again, red soul is basically the overall arch for if somebody comes into this lifetime with a red soul color, they are very power hungry, very grounded, very controlling and about this world in this lifetime. Trying to think if I want to talk about the aura color meanings too, because again, the color meanings are very similar across the board with everything, but again, soul colors are just 1 to 2 colors you're born with that describe your personality. So red souls like physical challenges rather than mental challenges or philosophical challenges, or like talking about it. When they're imbalanced, they have a lot of aggression and anger, and they don't like being vulnerable. They like conflicts. Hey, Amelia. And sometimes red souls don't even realize they're being conflictual, and like so like they're the person who always causes drama, but they don't see it as that. They just kind of like see it as, well, I'm just confronting you, and I don't know, maybe busybody is a good word for that. They like the conflict. So what other people see as aggressiveness, they just see as contact, conversation, and togetherness. So if a person with a red soul color comes into contact with somebody who's higher up, not as saying like the higher up colors are better, but like say a indigo or violet person who's more philosophical and in their feelings, they won't mesh very well. It's almost kind of like the Myers-Briggs personality test, which some of us were talking about earlier. So if, like a red soul would be a thinker, and not all thinkers are red souls, but that more concreteness is a red soul. They can be very stubborn. And so like with red souls, and especially like if you have red in your aura, it can mean that you're like a go-getter and that you're very good at like manifestation, because with the red chakra, that's all it's about. That too, you have to be grounded in order to manifest. So red souls are like, I'm going to start this business and I'm going to do this, and they do, because that's part of their personality. And again, that doesn't mean that everybody who has their own business is a red soul. You can be an indigo soul and start your own business, but when you put all the stuff together, that's what makes a red soul. So overall, red is stimulating. This is the book that I'm going off of from. I have mixed feelings about this book, Color Energy, because it goes along with the Biopulsar thing, like these things that I'm going to talk about in a bit. But this book is from like 95, and the author, I don't really like her very much. It's very old school, and obviously, like, there's some politically incorrect stuff in here. Like, there was one soul color that it was talking about, like, sexuality and, like, using sex to cover up feelings, and she makes a comment about, like, homosexuals and how they all do this, and I'm like, what? So, if you get this book, just a warning, it's very weird, but some of the other stuff is interesting, because a lot of the other stuff that's actually based on the color stuff is in other books that I've read that are more up to date. So yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of information, so I just have all my stuff here. So yeah, the archetypes for the red souls are warrior, king, entrepreneur, CEO, strong, a natural leader, excessive, and bully. So that's the red souls. And in this book, she talks about like a red soul getting into relationships with all the other soul colors and how that could work or not work out, which is kind of interesting. But I'm not going to go over all that. So then the next one is the orange soul. And the orange soul is kind of like the extrovert. It's the person that may be labeled as ADHD. Not everybody who has ADHD is an orange soul. It's also associated with like the inner child and playfulness. So these people are very playful. Sometimes they can be playful too much and avoid responsibility. But on the positive side, they're happy, they're spontaneous. They are like the people who are always like center of attention at parties. Excuse me. They are still practical because they're like with the color spectrum, they're like lower on like with the chakras. They're closer to the bottom, which are the grounded colors. They're very creative. A theory-based education is not appropriate for an orange person because an orange person kind of learns by hands-on. So they might be people who do like hands-on jobs or things like that. It's easy for orange souls to get addicted to things because like they have a problem, or they can't have a problem with filling up. Like, I don't know how I want to put it, but excessiveness. They have a problem with excessiveness sometimes. Sometimes they choose the easy way out too. But I mean, overall, orange souls are fun to be around. But they might be the person who is fun to be around, but just for a little bit, because you don't want to be around that person all the time because some of their choices are not the best. So And obviously, like when you have orange in your chakra, that's about creativity. That can be about trauma. That can be about feelings. So archetypes for orange souls are goal-oriented, playful, encouraging, impatient, superficial, opportunistic. Um, One of the things too with orange souls is if things aren't going their way, they try to control it. Which if you think about that with like trauma and how trauma is stored in the sacral chakra, which is orange, that just, it goes together. Hey, Katie. So that's orange souls. Then yellow souls are like, they're all about knowledge. They want to gain knowledge. They can be isolating because they just want to learn stuff and learn more. So, I mean, like with yellow, it goes along with the sacral chakra, which is about willpower. So they have great control over their emotions and their willpower. They're the explorers and the researchers. But again, since they tend to intellectualize, they kind of hide their feelings or don't fully express their feelings. And they don't really usually rely on their intuition or their feelings. Let's see. A lot too with the yellow souls, like they'll come across as happy and outgoing, but really sometimes they feel shitty inside or depressed, and they hide that from a lot of people. But not all the time. They learn fast and they remember things well. They're almost kind of like the what are the family roles? The hero, where they like get straight A's and everything's perfect, things like that. Sometimes if they have too much yellow or too much energy going on, they can appear arrogant or like feel that they're intellectually superior, and look down on other people. So that's the yellow soul. I'm very tired today. So I'm going through the soul colors, and then I'm gonna go through the aura colors and some of the other color meanings because it's all connected. So green souls are the helpers. They're the nurturers. They are the codependents. So a lot of times the green souls want to help everybody else, and then they don't focus on their own problems, and they hide and stuff their feelings, and then they have issues. They feel they need to help. Sometimes they can be overbearing because they help without being asked for their help. If they have kids, sometimes they can make their kids dependent on them because they have a need to be needed. They have a lot of intestinal problems because they hold their feelings in too. But I mean, without green souls, we wouldn't have like charities and all that stuff, or like the person you can always rely on to be like, hey, I need $100 to fix this, and they'll send it to you. You just have to be careful they have to be careful because they have to work on boundaries. But green souls are givers, and they have a hard time taking sometimes as well, or receiving. Just depends on the type of green soul. Let me see. I mean, they're drawn towards healing professions, but I mean, as we go up with the soul colors, all the soul colors have a potential to be in helping and healing professions. It changes. So like red souls, it would be more practical and hands-on. It wouldn't be as like spiritual. But as we start to get to like green and we go up, it starts to be more like counseling and things like that. I mean, green souls can be quiet too. They're really drawn to nature because green, obviously, nature. I have that problem too, Amelia. So with the soul colors, I just kind of take it lightly. It's just kind of interesting stuff, but I love color, theory, and obviously color affects who we are. But I feel like a lot of the soul colors can be mixed together. Like a lot of them sound the same, but they're still different because, again, when you look at like the chakras, like red, orange, yellow, they're more grounded and in like about practicality. And then once you start to get to the green and the colors up, it's more spiritual and more philosophical. That's basically the best way to summarize it. So green souls can be perfectionistic. They want to help people, again, sometimes a little too much. They take on everybody's problems, as most of the soul colors do, green and up. Yeah, I would look at what colors you connect with too, and that can indicate what your soul color might be too. But again, I have a like $10 test if you're really interested. But I think I gave that to you though, Amelia. Yeah. So yeah, green souls, watch out for boundaries. The next one is blue. So blue souls, my husband is a blue soul. How do I want to describe this? They are philosophical. They're still practical though. They're very self-controlled. They are super perfectionists. They are able to strategize and plan, and so that's almost concrete, but they still do it in an abstract way. Like, for example, my husband is the one that keeps track of all the bills and like put together a plan for me to repay my loans, because I'm just over here in La La Land because I'm one of the violet and indigo souls, because I'm just like, spirituality is life. Let's all be hippies. But he's like, we need to pay the bills, we need to do it this way, and this is the way that we're going to do it, and he researches that, whereas I'm just like, I'm just going to do what my intuition thinks or tells me to do. So I mean, blue souls can be more thinkers, but not all the time. But they are rational. Their downfall is they can hide emotions, and they can get stuck on their self-worth and perfectionism too much and get stuck in that self-blame and have a hard time relaxing. I'm really thirsty today. So blue people, let's see. Yeah, they're generally good in jobs that provide structure. And one of the things that they have trouble with is they become frustrated with their environment and other people and blame other people, when really they need to look at their own shit and see how they're blocking themselves. So that's a blue soul. I don't know why this is backwards in this book, but I'm going to go to violet next. So I am a violet and an indigo soul. They're different, but very similar. So blue souls are somewhat an empath, but the violet, the indigo, and the crystal are super empaths. They like absorb everything. So violet is, let's see, they're sensitive, they're intuitive, so are indigos. Violets are the visionaries, so they want emotion and spiritual balance in the world. And they worry about the collective, and they can feel the stuff that's going on in the collective. They're artists, they're global leaders. They have a hard time because they doubt themselves because they're always one step ahead of everybody else. So they're like, they have this great idea, but then they're like, I don't know if it's going to work because people aren't on that same wavelength. And again, that goes for indigos too. I think the biggest difference between violet and indigo are, if you think of like indigo child or indigo adult, they're the rebellious ones, and they have more of the like fuck you attitude. But they're very similar. Violet souls kind of like come in with knowledge that they just already know from past lives, and other people see them as really wise and having a lot to offer. They're basically here to raise spiritual awareness. So are indigos. One of the biggest things with violets and indigos is they can have all these great ideas, but then they don't focus on just one of them. They focus on too many, and then nothing gets done. Guilty with that. Um, and violets and indigos are happy when they're self-employed because they don't like to work for other people and like the freedom. And violets can see spirits, angels, or hear with them, or, all that stuff. So Violet, that's Violet. They're creative, they're quiet. They struggle with self-care because they're empaths. Most empaths struggle with that. And then indigos are the shakers. The biggest thing for indigo is just they need to learn to be themselves, and then they will help other people and teach other people. They're so intuitive and so energetically sensitive that they get tired really quick because they're absorbing everybody's stuff. The biggest difference between violet and indigos is indigo can be controlling because if stuff's not going their way, then they get frustrated. And they have to trust themselves to stay balanced, and it's really hard for indigos to get balanced. And this is not related to this like soul color from the book stuff, but me personally, I feel like indigos are starseeds, and they just don't like this earth plane, so they have a hard time adjusting and being in balance here. They can heal themselves. They have psychic abilities. They need freedom or else they feel trapped. And they're most happy self-employed. I hate working for people, and I am so glad I'm self-employed. Because it makes me, I feel like I can be myself. I can have crazy hair. I don't have to listen to stupid society rules. That's an indigo. They think society's rules are stupid and shouldn't apply to them. And they just want to be free to do whatever they want. And then crystals, if you've ever heard of the crystal soul or the rainbow child, those are they're probably older by now. I feel like the crystal or rainbow children were born in they're still being born, but I feel like that was in the 2000s. Can't remember. I think the book says 86 or something, or 89 was when crystal souls, and then indigos were mainly born in the 70s and 80s, but I know there were indigos born way before then too, so whatever. The year we're born doesn't matter, it's whatever you resonate with. The crystal souls they're on a higher level or a higher plane. They're almost I view them as pure, but not that other people aren't pure, but because they just already come in with such high spirituality from birth, and a lot of them are star seeds here on the earth for the first time, so they have a hard time adjusting to this plane, so they can really be depressed a lot of the time. Same with indigos too, but crystal and rainbow children and souls, it's on a deeper level with them. It's almost this super existential angst that they were born with. Not all the time. Obviously, they can be happy. For them, it's kind of they just... I don't want to say, I've worked with some who have autism and who are on that different level. Because they are more into themselves, but they're still higher spirituality, and they're teaching people just by being themselves. So with someone who's autism, obviously like they can do things in a really cool and interesting way that some people may think is weird and stupid, but for the people that are open, they're going to teach them something on some level. Um, Whereas indigo is like, I'm going to take control of this and I'm going to get to the spiritual level. Whereas like crystal and rainbow souls are like already like up here when they're born. And again, it's not about good or bad. It's where the soul is. And I would think that I read differing things I've read things where we evolve as souls with the colors, and then I've read things where we are just we've been all of them. So, excuse me, even though I'm a indigo and violet in this life, maybe in the next one I might go to red or orange. It just depends. Whatever you believe in. I don't want to put a label on it as one being better than the other. So that's soul color, and they're just kind of interesting. So soul colors are different than aura colors, but again, the meanings of the colors are pretty similar. So I wanted to show the Biopulsar things, the aura things. I have to make sure I have them in order. Let's see, 14. So, like I said, soul colors, you're born with 2 main soul colors, and then you can have your aura. Your aura changes based on what you do. So, this is mine from 2014. So this is from this thing. I am currently manifesting the money to get this machine. It's like $8,000 and it's crazy and expensive, but you put your hand on this machine and it generates your aura on the computer. And then it also measures your chakras. So my chakras were not that good in 2014. So in 2014, let's see, this was in April of 2014. I think it was January or February, I had my thyroid removed because I had thyroid cancer. And it's funny because, I mean, it doesn't really pick it up on here. Like, I actually felt way better afterwards because it got so big I couldn't breathe. But because there were certain things that influenced me having thyroid issues that had a lot to do with stored trauma, I'll see all this like muddy color here. That shows like where I was holding all of my shit, basically. Like when you look at this, you really want to look at like the bright, pure colors versus where it's muddy. So at that time I was working with kids and teenagers, and so that's why there's a lot of green there. I mean, I was nurturing. I was also learning I graduated in 2012 with my master's, so I was 2 years in, and I was still learning a lot. So that's why there's a lot of yellow there. But also, like, the green coming out of the top of my head is that nurture. But all of that stuff in the middle is like... And I have stomach issues now that have been related to the thyroid stuff. So that it's almost like this was a warning sign of what was to come. But, so yeah, that shows like all of that. So that was 2014. Let me see. I've always had issues with my root chakra. So that was 2014. I think I got one in 2016. Yeah. So this is 2016. I was still working at the same job. I hated it because my boss was putting everything on me, and so I was basically running the department by myself. So I was working with kids who were at risk for out-of-home placement or who were already placed out of their homes because of their behaviors or their parents' shit. It was working in one step before hospitalization with kids and teenagers. So an extremely difficult population. The good thing is I have my own trauma, so I was real with the kids, and for the most part, most of them I was good with them. But it was just stressful because I was working like 50 to 60 hours a week, and we did 3-hour groups every day, Monday through Friday, and basically I was the one responsible for all of those because my boss was a stupid person and just like stealing time and all that. So, as you can see, there's a lot of red around my throat because I was not speaking up for myself or telling her I was pissed off. I did eventually towards the end, but it didn't even matter because she didn't care. So you can see the red there. Still some stuff I was holding with my trauma, but I was starting to develop my spirituality, which is all of the blue and the turquoise in there, to kind of counterbalance some of that. This part, she told me, again, this is when I think 2016 is when I first started developing my psychic abilities, or at least working on them. Not developing, because I had them my entire life. But she told me that was me being clairaudient and receiving ideas here with the white and the purple. But overall, like, at this point, I had a company called Mind, Body, Spirit Art Therapy, and I was doing a lot of workshops at Goddess Elite, which is a local metaphysical shop, Enchanted Grove, which is another local metaphysical shop. I was developing a lot of actual, like, metaphysical interventions that I use now with clients. So when I had got my reading done, she said all the turquoise and all of the green in there was because I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. But at the time, obviously, it was not my full-time job because I was still working at the community mental health center, and I was still working on getting my second C for my license and all that stuff. But even though I was really pissed off and not speaking my truth, evidenced by the red, the passion there, I was still, like, working on my spirituality and stuff. So that's that one. So that's 2016. Apparently I'm having some throat chakra issues today because my throat is really dry. Alright, so this is 2017. I believe this was right before I left community mental health and started getting into private practice. I joined private practice in the fall of 2017, so this is still April of 2017. So I was starting to, like, speak up and be like, to my boss and be like, can you, like, be here? Because these kids, like, want you in group. So the red is gone, but I had some trauma stuff that moved into my chest, which is right here. Inner child healing stuff that I needed to work on. Some of this, there's still a little mud here, but again, I was still working on healing that, so some of that is starting to move out. The red passion up at the top is me being passionate about, like, getting out of that old job and finding something where I could do the spirituality piece, because I think at that point I had tried doing some of the spirituality piece with some of the teenagers, because some of them were open to that, and a lot of them were actually, like, indigo souls and crystal children, and they believed in that. But in a group setting, they're just, like, they're too cool for that. So didn't really work out with the teenagers. But again, I was teaching, I was nurturing and healing, so that's why there's all the green. And then the yellow, I was learning a lot because I was still, like, getting my hands on anything I could find with the spirituality piece. So that's 2017. Then last year, trying to think what's going on last year. Oh, I was not making enough money because so I see people out of my home through visions now, I was only doing self-pay at that point because I didn't get on insurance panels until later. So I was still mainly working out in Avon and not making enough money because under a group practice, you don't get all the money. You get 60%. Um, and even with that, it's still not a lot because some insurance companies don't pay you very much. So my back actually went out like a couple days before I had this done. So the gray over here, it's in some of the other ones too. It's like this is the 17, like that orange. Like I've always had issues with feeling supported due to my own trauma stuff. And so I was really feeling unsupported in life because I was barely making enough money and I had to rely on other people to help me out, which was my own lesson. But you can actually see that it manifested into here. And so she's like, you have to change your thoughts. Even if they're unconscious, it can still manifest like in your aura and your body like this. And then I was working on a lot of trauma at this point. So there's some yellow that's coming back in here. And like, not yellow, but like muddiness because I was working through that. But also the spirituality piece is starting to break through. There's that red piece holding on to a lot of trauma in my heart chakra. The orange with the throat is the creativity and in the face. So like I was lucky because with my clients, I was being able to do the spirituality piece. I just wasn't working for myself completely, which is what my indigo soul needs, which I do now, I love it. And then the purple is the spirituality piece. A lot of green, still more yellow because I'm a teacher and educator on there. So that was last year. And then the one this year, I have to take it off my manifestation board. This is the one I just got. So my back went out right before this too. Although I'm pretty sure it was from carrying water because I feel a lot more supported this year and I've done a lot of growth and work on my own trauma. But still, it still showed up because there's a little bit of muddiness here. But overall, I mean, my heart's clear, my throat's clear, most of this is clear, and that's from working in therapy on my own shit. The clairaudience is up here with the purples, and then the educator thing, again, all the spirituality piece, again, the educator, the intellect, the healers, the green. The woman who does this, she said, I guess the goal is to have most of that turquoise color in there. I don't know why, but I do have some of the red for some of the passion. So yeah. I really hope, I don't want to say I hope, I want to say I am manifesting the money to get this machine because I really feel like it could help a lot of my clients and be really cool and just be like if nothing else, like validation for healing and what they're doing. Because again, our aura colors change based on what we do. So that's the Biopulsar. So, I mean, with colors, I love color. You can incorporate color into everything and it can really help your mood. I mean, what is it? Not interior design. Why can't I think of the word? Where you like paint your walls and it improves your mood. I mean, it's actually a science. So, like if you have a red wall, sometimes that can be overstimulating, but other times it can be passionate. If you want to calm down, use blues and cool tones, things like that. I know, but like with all of the color meanings and everything that leads up to what I want to do next time on the live is the MARI, which is the Mandala Assessment Research Instrument, and it's based on Carl Jung and research on mandalas and colors as symbolism and symbol meaning throughout time and history. And it's really cool because it gives you a picture of your psyche right now, but it goes into like all the different color meanings and everything, and it's really cool. And obviously it's not 100% accurate, but the people I do it with, the only people that have ever said, oh, this doesn't fit at all, or like people who have been totally in denial about things, because I mean, there's the collective unconscious, and our first language is symbol and color. So that's why colors appeal to everybody and symbols appeal to everybody. But yeah, so that'll be next time. And then the other thing I do with color is I do spirit paintings. So tapping into people's energies and painting them. This is a friend's that I did where I picked up on like DNA repair, and then like these two purple things, which she said were probably her spirit guides, or two people I think that had died. So these are just some cool things. So I mean, I pick up on what the colors are going on for you right then, and like what's going on in your life right now, basically. She had some sparkle. I think her spirit guides specifically told me to make her shit sparkle. So that was hers. This was another person's, where there was some grief that was healing, and it was almost like a cocoon that was healing, but also some energy taking off and creativity, but also some inner child healing up here. So again, it goes along with the color meanings and color symbolisms, because like purple is usually grief or healing grief, or it can be royalty. These colors are the creative colors, and then this is like the nurturing colors up here. I can't remember what this one was for somebody, but there was like an angel or something reaching out to them. There was a lot of like flowiness and growth. This person had some balance stuff going on between their throat chakra and their sacral chakra, and their the heart chakra around there. And then water, I sensed, was really good for them. So, and they had like spirit guides surrounding all of this healing that was going on that was super central for them. This person had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of chaos in the middle, but they had their spirit guides were coming in amongst all of the chaos to kind of help them out, and then like trying to ground them but not reaching in really fully, and then some energy over here that was kind of taking off for them. And this one, I think, was this one. Yeah. They had a lot of healing that needed to happen, but it was blocked in almost. They had this for some grounding, but there was a lot of stuff that was still there that was blocking a lot of this healing and growth and going on. And it almost split them off from this upper spirituality piece that they had, because their guides and everything were trying to come in, but it's like there's this block here. So that's that. There's just so much with color. Like, everybody has their own meanings, but obviously look to like the chakra meanings and all of that for things. And then, so I'm just going to post a couple, or show a couple books too that are really good. This is a really good book. It even talks about like ailments and what colors to use. So if you guys want to know certain things, just let me know. Let me see if I can find the page. I just had it earlier. Here it is. So like for allergies, it says to use indigo and soft orange. So I encourage people to use colors for grounding, like visualizing them around them, or breathing them in and out. Or, yeah, that for like cleansing your aura too. Or like, so like for me at night, I always imagine white or gold light around myself and like protecting myself and my house and everybody in my house. If I'm working with somebody and their energy feels heavy, I ask for the same kind of color to come around me. If I need to ground myself, I imagine red around me, or I wear red. I mean, you can wear them too. You can eat the colors to kind of help you. So like if you need grounding, eat red foods. If you have issues with your throat chakra, eat like blue foods, like blueberries, things like that. Or like have the crystals. So like I have my rose quartz heart here. So that's good for heart chakra healing and trauma healing and all of that. But like, let's see what else. For bladder issues, yellow and orange from this book. For anxiety, light blue and green. For colds, red, because it goes with the red chakra. For abdominal cramps, yellow and lemon, so I'm assuming that's for menstrual cramps as well. Oh no, never mind. Menstrual problems, soft red with blue-green combinations. Inflammation, blue. So like too with some of these you have to be careful, because if you have anger problems, you don't want to imagine surrounding yourself with red all the time, because that's just going to make your anger worse. If you have depression, but also anxiety, you don't want to imagine surrounding yourself with blue too much, because that'll make your depression worse. It's all about balance. For nausea, ice blue. For nerves, green or blue-green. So yeah. So that's a cool book. Like I said, I like this book. It's really interesting. And Cobalt knocked over my deck. I love this deck. It was one of my first ones, but like I'll pull one if anybody, I don't know. There's 3 people here, so if you want a card, I'll pull you one. Just comment, but I'll pull one just to show you. So gold, attract abundance. So it has like a little, what color, what number was that, 21. Gold provides clarity and decision making, attracting abundance, expanding awareness, and clearing the path to wisdom, knowledge, and joy. Strengthen all fields of the body and spirit with gold, the strongest color for healing all illness, but use it wisely. To attract abundance, focus on activating golden energy in your palms of your hands. So it has like a little short thing. Okay, I'll pull you one, Addie. And then I'm probably going to get off of here, but if anybody else wants one too, but I like these two. If I'm like, I pull one in the beginning of the day to figure out what color I need to surround myself with for that day. Oh, you got 2. You got indigo, improve your vision. I'll get you, Brittany. And brilliance, discover your sparkle. Addie. 40. Indigo helps with any illnesses affecting your head, eyes, ears, or nose. It also treats mental and emotional disorders such as ADHD, anxiety, and depression. Use indigo for problems with insomnia and to release stress and tension. When visualized, indigo provides a sense of clarity and purpose. Visualize indigo rays to improve your vision and to make your dreams a reality. It says, focus on your eyes. Are they tired and heavy or light and relaxed? Imagine indigo light penetrating your eyes, finding any dark spots in your field of vision and dissipating them. Place your palms on your eyes and gently hold them there for a few minutes, allowing your eyes to relax completely. Visualize something in the future that you would like to create, then freeze it as if it were a beautiful painting. Now place it in a indigo bubble and allow it to float into the middle of the world, shining its energy from there. Say, Divine Intelligence, please allow what I have seen in my vision to manifest in the perfect time and in the perfect way. So that's how you can use indigo. And then Brilliance. Discover your sparkle. Brilliance brings about change and transformation. Work with it when you want to wipe the slate clean and start anew. Brilliance also has the ability to assist with healing all health conditions and is great for releasing any fear and anxiety. When you feel heavy or depressed, use Brilliance to recharge and bring back your sparkle. Cleanse your body and soul to discover your brilliance. Visualize standing under a sparkling, brilliant waterfall. Allow all depression, fear, anger, and negativity to wash away with this powerful, brilliant light. Let it cleanse every organ, part, and system in your body until you are sparkly clean and ready to start fresh. Say, Divine Intelligence, I am ready to recognize my own wisdom and allow my brilliant ideas to manifest and inspire all those around me. So that's yours, Addie. And I'll get you Brittany and then Amelia. Oh, that was just poor shuffling. Ooh, you got silver, Brittany. Be persistent. Silver is the color of peace and persistence, calming nervous tension, bringing serenity, and expanding awareness. Silver also strengthens the healing process through purification, releasing diseases and density from the body, and flushing toxicity from the blood and tissues. This indicates healing the kidneys and balancing hormonal function, as well as bringing clarity. Silver is also great for protection and grounding. Strengthen your intention and resolve with silver rays of light. It says stand up straight and focus on what you would like to achieve or experience. Imagine silver rays of light intertwining themselves around you, strengthening your intention and resolve. Allow them to hold you up taller and stronger. Now imagine a silver ray of light that creates a bridge between your mind and your goal. I know what this goal is. For the next 3 days, focus on strengthening the silver bridge until you feel that you are confident enough to walk over it. Receive what you want and bring it back into the present. The more you feel like you already have it, the faster you will manifest it. That is very true. Remember, when you continuously focus positive attention on a goal, it is impossible not to manifest it. Say, I am confident, clear, and persistent. Wonderful things now flow into my life at the perfect time. So that's for you, Brittany, and I'll get you, Amelia. Oh, did knock out the energy of the cards. That one came out quick. Azure, I can't say that word. Protect yourself, Amelia. $36. I don't think I've ever gotten that card for people. Azure purifies your aura and strengthens your connection to the divine, leading you to discover your truth and empowering you to make important life choices. Immerse yourself with azure rays to protect yourself from negative, dense energies and to find your center. Breathe in azure rays of light to feel safe and secure, imagining an azure, they really want me to say this word over and over again, bubble of light that surrounds and protects you. Say, I ask divine healing light to surround me with love, peace, and healing. Please bar any dense energy from entering my space and affecting me. Thank you. Do this for yourself and your loved ones whenever you would like some added protection. So that's yours, Amelia. Azure. So that's it for today. So I will see you guys around. Bye.